No title, none of that. Okay, I honor you if you are a decent being in this universe. I honor you, and if what I mean is you have all of your chakras or your heart chakra is activated. Uh, you have limits as to how far you will go in life. You have a certain level of a moral compass. You may not be perfect. You may have your issues and need, room for growth and change and development like everyone else. But you have a very strong moral compass in a sense, just in a sense of when it comes to just basic decent, decency um, to humanity. Okay, I didn't say it's pristine. It's just there's a baseline. And to you all, I went that far in explanation because I feel like when I say it, that there could be an undertone or connotation that I'm implying that I or you all collective do everything right and you do everything correct and you don't have no flaws and wrong moves and bad. No, that's not what I mean. There's folks like myself and you make mistakes. You have different seasons of life. You have, wrong judgments at times. You are misguided. Who hasn't been misguided? Humanity has been severely misguided. Okay. So that ain't it. It's about the heart. It's about the intentions. It's about the motives. It's about premeditation. It's about, you know, all those things. Okay, anyway. I just want to say for the record that I am all for somebody who is, or at least I believe I am, an earth sign and has a lot of practicality, in terms of like ambition, the mountain goat, you know, practical, pragmatic. I'm all for ambition. I am all for it. I'm all for having goals. I am all for, wanting more out of life. I am all for all those things. Okay, I want to say that. I know it looks like a cop car, huh? I have to put their heads right there. Shit. Citizens arrest. Failure to uphold what you said you would on it. Anyway, so I am all for that. Okay, I'm all for that. I'm all for seeing something through. You know, working it until it can't be worked no more. I'm going this route for a reason because the stuff that has been going on with the collective and these people it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I guess people do want lawsuits. I guess they do want their company sued. I guess they do want to go bankrupt. I guess they do want to end up tied up in litigations. I guess they do want that. They want that. They want their complexes under siege. I guess they do want that. They must want that. I reckon that they do want it because this is getting ridiculous. And the point that I'm making about how I'm all for ambition and goals and wanting more out of life is because that's what most of these people are driven by. Most. Some of them just loopy, okay? But most of them, it's driven by, for the love of, y'all have heard me saying about this quite some time. Okay? That's that and that's all. They like to pretend to have morals. Okay? They like the aesthetics of pretend. they hey, they like to pretend that because that's that sociopathy. You get a lot of oohs and ahs. when you are a philanthropist. You get a lot of oohs and ahs when you are, known, get yourself a reputation of giving to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You get a lot of oohs and ahs. You see that? When you come off as this prominent leader of a church, you get a lot of oohs and ahs with that. But it's aesthetic if any of them are involved with the things in which I talk about. Okay? I'm not saying every last one of these people, y'all get your chonies out of a bunch. Okay? I'm not saying that I'm just saying the ones that are participating, benefiting from. Okay? The shit that is going on with us collective. It's getting ridiculous. I told y'all there's more than one way to skin a chicken. So that's what you're looking at. This is the cargo van from U-Haul, bitch. Okay? However, I can almost guarantee now that I went to U-Haul, I bet you the next time I try to go to U-Haul, they're going to have some special new rules, bitch. Which I'm already ready for. You see that? You see that? See how that went? You see how I'm picking up their little shit? I see what they're doing. Okay? So, now, I tested the waters. Okay? We're going to be talking about a few things here because I got some things. Today's going to be a very interesting day. I know they're shaking. They're shaking, bitch. They're surrounding me as I speak. They're desperately trying. I don't know if it's technology or them. I really don't care. It's like it is what it is. They just helping me, bitch. They can kick out 1,000 times over and I will kick in 1,000 times more.
And now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything. Take Eric's advice. If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Okay, trash, motherfuckers. Trash that pretends to be class. The bitch with the lime truck. Like I said, they make themselves obvious. Repeat, like, you know what I'm saying? Damn, at least be on your get up. You know what I'm saying? Mix it up, motherfuckers. Don't have the same hoe. Don't have the same hoes in the same vehicles. On top of it's vehicles that's got some unique characteristic traits, like a sore thumb, that if anybody were to see it, bitch, it will be easily identified. Because that don't spook me if that's what the fuck it was supposed to do. All it does is put their ass on my radar to put them on my list to fucking be dealt with. That's what the fuck it does. They can swarm through Starbucks and they can, okay. Anywho, like I was saying, I did a test. I'm always up to something. And the reason for that is because they are. So, as I was trying to say, I am all for ambition. I'm all for these things. But how far do you go? That's what I'm saying. It's like these. To me, it is mental illness to be wanting. Listen to me. It is mental illness to be that ambitious. It's a form of it. Because see, we think mental illness is somebody that's got on some tethered clothes. Some of us ain't got a fucking clue out there in this here universe. Ain't got a fucking clue. We think mental illness is somebody with some tethered clothes on, that look worn and got some dirt on their face. And, we have our associations because of culture, how we were raised, environments, and those things like that. It's like that could be somebody who's possibly smarter than you, possibly more sound than you. They are possibly victims of abuse of sorts. Probably can outsmart and make circles around your ass. Okay? They're possibly more sound, which is possibly why they did the things they did to put the motherfucker in the state of being that they're in, because they could have outsmarted people or could see straight through the trash. So they needed to abuse that motherfucker. They needed to drive them insane so that they can look insane because they know too much. They can see too much. They see through the illusion. But we see somebody looking like they're tired or looking like they're, stressed out or have anxiety, and we go, oh, mental illness. Nah, nigga, the stalkers aren't mentally ill. The people who hired the stalkers are mentally ill. This is a mental illness because this ambition, this thirst and desperation for money and wealth. I'm going to say money because I don't even call that wealth. I'll call that money. Okay? This ambition for lots of shit and to be able to keep lots of shit, to the magnitude of where they're willing to start doing harm to lives, making up shit, trying to drive people in, all that, that's mental illness. And I'm gonna call it, I'm gonna say it, that's the fucking mental illness. They are the mentally ill individuals. And again, I don't care if they are driving the latest Tesla or not. If they're participating in this shit, mentally ill. There's no illness. Where is the line drawn? A healthy and a good businessman and businesswoman. Because a lot of this, like I said, is the thirst for money, but also this dog with a bone. It's a thirst for money, and then you have the other side where it's just wacko, a dog with a bone. Okay, now a healthy businessman, businesswoman, business person in life, you know when to hold them, when to fold them. That's the name of the game in this plane of existence. There are some investments that pay off, and there's some that doesn't. That ain't nothing deep. That's a businessman, a businesswoman, a business person that's worth their salt. Okay, they're healthy, they're grounded, and they've had their feet wet for a while. Okay, that sometimes you go on a business venture and it pays, it yields fruit. It turns out to be very, very profitable, very, very lucrative. Sometimes you go down a path where it's like, oh, that may not have been a good business investment. Maybe it was premature. Maybe the market wasn't all that great. Maybe it was the wrong demographics. Maybe it was the wrong service or product. Maybe it was the wrong partners. And then it turns out to be a fluke, a flop, hits zero. Maybe you don't get any revenue. In some cases, it was a deficit and it goes, but businessmen and women worth their salt has a solid foundation and understanding that that's a part of it. That's part of it. Okay. And you hopefully, as a business person, you over time, you learn from it and you just simply try to make adjustments, even realizing that it's just no guarantees. That's the name of the game of wanting to be an entrepreneur. But you try to learn from, the losses. Okay? And you go, okay. And you go into review. When there is a loss, you go into the review so that you can look at your business plan and model, so that you can look at the service or product in which you're trying to put out there, so that you can look at the cost to benefit ratio, so you can look at the demographics, so that you can you go back. Okay, and you go, okay, yeah, this no. Depend on this. No. And then you stop. These people, no. Mm-mm. By the way, I'm not a product or service, neither is the targeted population. I'm only drawing those parallels because since they operate from that space, dollars and cents on ledgers, okay? I'm not referencing, we're people, we're beings, we're not cattle. Okay, that's why I said, when you all hear me keep saying they're mentally ill, this is why. That they're the mentally ill ones, because these are people. And I'm not just talking about myself and my son, I'm talking about anyone that's on the receiving end of this type of stuff. We're people, beings, not property. Cancel property. Let me rephrase that because I got to get my language together. My whole point, though, in treating us as such reveals the mental illness. Like I said, human refrigerator, commissary. I need them stressed out. I need to do this, and that. I need, to do this, go to town on a disabled boy. I need to do this to her, and blah, 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 so they can, so we can get benefits, and then so they don't know our grotesque truth. We know your grotesque truth. And so is the world going to know. Some of them already do. You people that are hiding a fugitive, you're super sick. I see some of your people around me right now. Delta. You're super sick. You're super mentally ill. That's correct. You want your Tesla that damn bad that you're willing to be an accessory. You want tuition for Stephanie that bad. But you would cry if Stephanie was under siege by the witches that you hired, wouldn't you? You'd cry like a bitch. You cry like a little girl. You'll cry. You'll be on your knees crying. You'll be going to all motherfuckers that you can't find on earth. Begging, crying. That's why I say these people is weak as fuck and mentally ill. Because I promise you, the same witches, wizards, warlocks, and weirdos, in which they hire to do shit to the collectives, if they were to go to town on them and theirs, which was fascinating, is some of this stuff is being rerouted to them and theirs on purpose. Since they want to hire bitches and niggas to do shit. But they would be crying like a little weak back bitch. Wee. Wee. Where some of them are going to Starbucks right now with their Audrey Hepburn glasses on and shit, with their fucking Jackie old bitch. Ain't no sun out, bitch. Uh-oh. And they white Mercedes. Oh, I'm having some fun. They got their shades on. It's as gloomy as hell, bitches. It's no sunshine in the vicinity. Why Why they got their glasses on? Why they scared? Why they got their glasses on? Why they got their shades on? Why they got their shades on? White Mercedes. And let's see. Let me see this. Let's see. What is that? NNH 2307 Texas. Or NWH 2307 Texas. Mercedes Mini SUV. Oh, I'm gonna have some fun, motherfuckers. Oh, they don't even have a clue, bitch. They don't got a clue, bitch. Actually, maybe they do. Let me rephrase that. They scared. That's why they falling out. It's this early in the morning, bitch. Ooh, shit, she got a van, y'all. Mayday, mayday. Everybody on board? I'm still gonna have to do all the shit I'm supposed to do. Which includes mailing out some shit about them today. So, okay. But now, back to what I'm saying. Okay. The test that I did was, you know, because it had been some time since I had driven, since they had did their little, you know, shenanigans. So the test that I did, I wanted to see the difference of how the stalking and the following goes when you're in a car. So I was trying to like gauge it, and it's crazy. It's they still doing it. Like, yeah. Now, I got to have a little bit of fun and play because driving, so I did get to do a couple things. I was like, I'm gonna do it. Shit, fuck it. They want to sit down. I'm sitting here as well. I'm gonna sit here. Let's see who sit here the longest. You know. And then, you know, deciding to get up and just like kind of just drive and start like drive them nuts. Says, listen, that's what they hired to do. That's what they hired to do. They're hired to irritate me. They're hired to misdirect. They're hired to drive me bonkers. So I did the exact same thing. I was like, I think I'm going to Walmart. Let me sit here. No, I think I'm going to go straight. Let me sit here. No, I'm going to go there. Let me sit there. No, I'm going to go. Yep. They like to do the slow drive and shit with the circling around. So I was like, let me do the slow drive with the circling around, bitch. And let me tell you something. It makes them nervous. This is my observation. As I was driving around my son's complex, okay, like I was circling around, like scoping the scene. You know, this is me being his security, if you will, in terms of the external. Now, you know, the fact that they're doing spell work up over him, that's not something you're gonna see outside. But me, you know what I'm saying, circling around is me like doing my security. Like, let me see what hoes and niggas, bitch, is frequenting this bitch. So as I was driving in circles, I'm making them nervous. But I laughed because I said, oh, go figure, huh? Go figure. I just smiled. Because I'm like, yeah, don't feel it. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? Oh. Making them uncomfortable. Fascinating. The bullies. The hired terrorists. The bullies. The hired surveillancers. The hired terrorists. The hired terrorists. That's what all these people are. I don't care who gave them the job and how they got it. They're hired terrorists. They are hired psychological warfare terrorists. The job application should read, Would you like to have a job? Would you like to get your bills paid? Would you like to get your rent and a vehicle for free? Would you like to have groceries and all of these things and immunity from your criminal record? There's a perfect job for you. All of these spiffs plus $2,000 cash as a psychological warfare terrorist. That's what the title of the job should be. Not no private investigator, not no secret shopper slash surveillancer. It should read, and look, here's the next motherfucker with the glasses on. You know, why they got the, well, he old. It's like, bitch, he in the Lincoln. It's like, this is no sunshine. Maybe they're preparing for the sunshine. Or are they narcissists? Are they people? I'm being funny, but because of what I know now, I just wouldn't be surprised. But that is what the title should be for the job position. It shouldn't be secret shopper surveillancer. It should be psychological warfare terrorists. Because when they give them what their duties are, that's why I said that. Their duties, their task. That, and if you were to do your own due diligence and look into the shit, that is what it is. Because they don't, their duties and task isn't, you know, because a secret shopper, those of us who knew what that shit was in a day, you look like everybody else. You are not alluding to the people in which you're surveilling. You don't allude to any kind of evaluating you. You don't allude to that. You don't come off as, I'm looking at your makeup counter to evaluate you. I'm here to measure you. I'm here to peek into you so that I can give you some kind of a grade. You don't allude to any of that. I see you, Lincoln, PSB 3650, Texas, black Lincoln SUV, Caucasian man with white hair and glasses on. And I say glasses, I'm saying shades. Second person I've seen with blacked out shades with the no sun out. Driving slow with the circle about Starbucks, going towards Ross and Kroger and circling right back around again. Anywho. So that's what I'm saying, because that's not what they tell these people to do. Secret shoppers, you know, are inconspicuous because they want to give and report a fair analysis of what they've gathered. If they were to allude to the fact that they're there, they know that that person may very well even go into performance mode because they know that they're there and they won't be what they would normally otherwise be. So they need to change the title off these black market, you know, websites and applications, or these youth programs to stimulate the economy and whatever fake bullshit they talking about. Okay, talking about a job opportunity, but a youth, because they're using them too because they're cheaper. The older crowd, they have to give a little bit more spiffs. The youth, all they gotta do is give them some kicks, or, you know, some kicks, a cell phone, bitch, you know, and a little cash, But the duties, the task, are not as such as the surveillancer. Become a full paraprofessional private investigator. with your no skills having ass, with your no certification, and you're just a nosy hoe. Maybe that's why it's a good job for you, because you're just a nosy bitch. That's all you're good at. A nosy bitch with a vendetta. A nosy dude with a vendetta. Anyway, so the task. Oh, finally somebody without without shades on. The task that they tell these people are psychological warfare terrorist tactics. That's why I said that, for those of you who are wondering. And if you don't believe that, all you have to do is your own due diligence. You don't have to just take information from anybody saying it, including me. Okay? There. If you think that I'm just some quack, if you think I'm just some menopausal, stressed out woman, they will use any season of life that a person that is going through to try to exploit that. When they can no longer, before that season, then they'll be saying something else. So how about this? Get a brain of your own. Okay? How about that? How about get some critical thinking of your own, become independent thinker, disconnect from hive, do your own due diligence and research and learn how to critically think, and then you decide. They get nervous when I'm quiet, but they also get nervous when I start speaking too intelligently. They like when I am ranting and raving and upset, because then they can spin the narrative of, again, she's just some menopausal, stressed out, you know what I'm saying, single mom. They like that. When I'm quiet, they like it to a degree. To a degree. And then when I get too quiet, it bothers them, because they don't know what I'm concocting, what I'm thinking, what I'm planning, what's going on. That's why they start sending weird people to do weird things when that happens. But they're super concerned when I speak intelligently, because they know that that reaches the masses. And that when somebody is able to direct folks to think for themselves, it's hard to refute that. It's hard, because if somebody was simply just trying to do what they do, which is a mind fuck, gaslighting, spell casting, then usually a person's not gonna be directing folks to be their own investigator. So they know that that's empowering, and it makes them shake. Because that means it's going to be at least maybe one more person that's going to see through the shit and ain't desperate enough to keep at the same shit. That don't want the depravity. Because no matter how you fancy it up, this is not no private investigator job. Okay, you're not a PI. You're not a PI. You're not a secret shopper. You are a hired psychological warfare stalker terrorist. Your job, task, and duties require you to do so. They bank on you all's ignorance of having no fucking clue about nothing. And your desperation to want to come up, and that works for them. They also bank on your hatred. That works for them. If you got hatred, prejudice, malice, jealousy in your heart towards their target, that works for them. ain't nothing like an obsessed, jealous, wannabe starlet that's off their rocker. They're like a dog with a fucking bone. So now they are around me. Now some cars I don't recall, but I usually try to mark the ones that I'm familiar with. I remember, like, I'll look at their license plates and certain markers. That's how I'm able to do it. I'll look at them. I remember a face. I may not remember names, but I'm gonna tell you something. I remember faces and I remember sound. Like I can, like, voice. I remember face and I remember voice. Okay, and patterns. Yep, even at the ripe old age of where I'm at. Okay, and I'm outside. I got on a facial mask. I'm outside. I got on my robe. I came out early because I wanted to. I mean, I got the little cargo van for today, or at least I got it last night. I'll be taking it back sometime later on tonight. So I'm gonna have some fun with it today. I'm gonna do the things that I need to do. I got a lot on the agenda, to-do list today. I'm gonna work it. I'm gonna work it. I gotta mail off some stuff about all these motherfuckers to several places. And I'm choosing snail mail for a reason. For some stuff. Some stuff I'm still doing digitally on various government portals. But because the fact that these things are tapped into, I'm just not relying on it. Remember old school, they used to tell you to back up your work, like just in case, when technology was still like, you know, the 90s, the early 2000s, you know, they tell you to, you know, always have a backup, print out a hard copy. Remember that? Because shit get lost, like just in case, that you ain't got to start over, just in case. So that you see what I'm saying? Always have that, because technology is being played with. If, you know, if they can hack into shit, if they can block messages and all these things that we discover later that they've been doing. So it's like, okay, always have some hard copies and utilize old school snail mail, but don't hand it. I'm telling you, the best bet is either put them in one of them blue boxes, old school blue boxes, because they have to basically come there and pick it up and then they, you know, distribute. Because in some cases, you handling shit to clerks that be a part of shit. I hate saying that. I know it sounds paranoid. I know it sounds outlandish, but all of this, in my opinion, is insane and outlandish. This whole shit is outlandish. The fact that this whole shit is happening is outlandish. The fact that my son has dizzy motherfuckers around the clock and the apartment above him and motherfuckers around him being weird as fuck is outlandish. The fact that that is looked at as okay by the leadership is outlandish. The fact that there are dirty cops and individuals that are involved is outlandish. So when this outlandish behaviors consistently happen, it doesn't sound all that outlandish for me to perceive that it is a possibility that a postal clerk is a crook just like the rest of the sons of bitches. They done been doing spell work already. Early this morning, the bitch niggas, whoever is above my son, was already at making noise and doing spell work on him and me already. to create some kind of, because they want me distressed. That's been a primary strategy since I won't deal with no more fucking honeypots and shit. But that was always going on. So they're doing all, they don't give a fuck about my son. And even the motherfuckers that call themselves going about claiming to be concerned and claiming all sorts of shit. They look at him as commissary. They look at him as some fucking supply. They don't care about him. They never had. His family don't either. Them bitches wouldn't have done none of the shit that they've ever done. Okay, they wouldn't have handled the shit that they've handled the way they have. They wouldn't have done shit if they ever gave a fuck about him and his livelihood. Okay, so all that shit is bogus. Okay. Anywho, so I gotta go. It is 9:20. I'm gonna go get myself together. Got shit to do. Scoping the scene, putting people on my list. Y'all better start standing up. If y'all, I'm talking to those of y'all out there in the universe. I'm not talking to weak, cowardly motherfuckers. If you weak and cowardly, you need to get off my channel. You need to get off my channel. You need to get off my platforms. If you want to stay scared of these niggas and bitches, you don't need to watch my shit. If you want to continue to appease these motherfuckers, you don't need to watch my content. You don't need to follow me. You don't need to hear anything that I got. You need to stay with the blue pill matrix type of spiritualist, religious people, and motherfuckers that want to pretend like this kind of shit ain't happening. Those are the folks y'all need to stay with. Okay? If you're not ready to get real and deal, I'm not the one you want to listen to. Okay? I'm talking to motherfuckers who are ready to own the shit come hell or high water. Come what may. Who are ready to blast this shit out of the water. Because at the end of the day, what I've told myself is this. If me and my son are going to be terrorized and tortured one way or the other, I might as well wreck shod. That's how I feel. Because see, many of you out there have erroneously believed that your silence is going to stop the abuse, and it is not. That your silence is going to stop them from doing spell work on you and your children, and it is not. That your silence is going to stop them from stealing from you, and it's not. That your silence is going to stop them from trying to set you up and entrap you, and it's not. That your silence is going to save you and your family, and it's not. That your silence is going to make it not as bad, but that's wrong as well. It is. It's equally as bad, if not worse, because the fact that we remain quiet for so long is a part of what makes it hard to believe when we start to speak. The fact that when you go along with this and you smile at them and you pretend like they're wonderful people while you know that they're abusing you, you know that they're hurting you, you know that they're hurting your children, you know that they're using you as a meal ticket, even if it means to your detriment. Then it's going to be very hard to convince people. You see that? This is one of the reasons why we have to stand up. They're surrounding me. Some of them are surrounding me now trying to do spell work. The witches that's over my son, over, his apartment above him, are doing shit. Then, of course, you got the other shit. But they getting schooled about me. I know they getting schooled, which is why they nervous. which is why they got all the white people, bitch. They got all the white. I'm being silly with this. I am a white woman. Privileged, entitled motherfuckers. Just like the slave masters, but they got me fucked up. I ain't no slave. Never was. Okay? I'm here to wreck shod on bullshit. Entitled and shit. That entitlement. You know, and then all they sit up and do is recruit the wannabe house slaves and shit. That pisses me off. It pisses me off. It does. It pisses me off because it's doing nothing but recycling the abuse that we claim to want to get so free from, that we claim we have risen above, that we claim it. Some of us famous because we ain't above it. That's the only reason why some of us are fucking famous. Because we ain't above it. We sold our fucking families. I ain't gonna say we fucked that. They did. Cancel that, because I ain't did that kind of shit. I ain't on that. Sold their damn family so they could have some goddamn fame. So that's the definition of a house slave. House slaves get privileges. House slaves kiss the ass of the master a little bit more. House slaves, you know, will report and, you know, this ain't about complexion, but in some cases it is. Anyway, let me go so I can go and handle some shit, because I got some of the weird culty motherfuckers as usual. But I'm quite used to this at this point. There's more than one way to skin a chicken. Stand up, y'all. Be honorable. Speak. And the more many of us start to do this and face fears, this is how we're chipping away. It's the secrecy and it is the silence that they use against us. It is the secrecy and it's the silence that gives them the power. This is why they're always looking for leverage. They're always looking for something to entrap you by. Okay? This is why they always want to get some dark secrets on you, or they want to get you to do something compromising, you know, all of those things. Okay? So let me go. I'm gonna go clean my energy. Look at this hoe. And what's funny is most of these people actually believe they're better than me. That's what I laugh at. They think they're better than me because they got a 36 figure. Live long enough, bitch. And if you ain't got no money, let's see where that go. Okay? They think they're better because they're white. In some cases, nigga, just call it. They think they're better because they're light complected. They think they're better, and they're not. They're mentally ill with Chanel boots and a Birkin bag.